Hello, and welcome to the 2022 Upper Midwest Regional Budget Presentation. I am Justin Carlson, a member of First Christian Minneapolis. I'm currently serving on the Operations Council and was also a member of the Budget Committee for the year. I am going to share my screen now so that we are all looking at the same presentation. All right, draft transcription of this presentation is available if you have trouble hearing any part of it. So just ask me after the presentation is over. And yeah, let's get into it. So on the budget document that you were all sent, it's in the email. There are columns showing numbers from 2019, 2020, and 2021. Today, we are taking action on the 2022 working budget for the region, but information from the previous years shows how we pulled these numbers together. As with most budgets, our region's budget is based on estimates of income, streams, and expenses. We assembled a balanced budget, so our estimated expenses in 2022 match our estimated income. If you look at the numbers from previous years, you'll notice we ran a deficit in reality each year. However, the region is actually doing okay. In 2020, we received PPP money and other federal relief. That all meant we were able to ensure safety and health through reduced in-person programming without worrying about loss of income. The impact of that money is not shown here in the budget, as it is not something we expect to occur again. Looking ahead to the end of this year and into 2022, we project a return to income from more normal sources. Disciples Mission Fund giving, which comes directly from congregations, remains our region's most important source of income. So thank you to everyone here and your congregations. You enable us to do all the things that we want to do as a region. So in this pie chart of all our income streams, you'll notice Disciples Mission Fund is the light blue. And you will probably also notice a giant dark blue income, which is money that comes in from the conference center. However, the conference center is also the region's largest expense, which reduces its impact as a revenue source. So we project the conference center will bring in $389,400, and it will require us to spend $329,000. That reduces conference center income to $60,000. This next chart is a visual representation of what the regional budget looks like if we use conference center expenses to cancel out conference center revenue. $60,000 is nothing to sneeze at. It is very good that our physical facilities bring in more money than they cost. However, that means your congregation's contributions to DMF, in light blue here, are still and will be our region's greatest resource for running programs and supporting each other. If you'll indulge me a little further, if you look at the 2022 income, I'd like you to notice the dark brown piece. Now that is income from tuition from campers. And we always subsidize the camping program by putting more money into it than we bring in through tuition from campers. I decided to see what would happen if we thought of the conference center income as the source of that subsidy for camp, and also canceled out camp income by removing camp expenses. And that gives us this. So now there's, of course, no quiz on this, and this isn't really real budget. I just thought it worthwhile to show, again, just how important and vital congregational DMF giving is to our region. It makes it possible for us to do all the things we do for youth. All right, so DMF giving. It is always hard to predict as it comes directly from individuals and congregations and sometimes doesn't reach us until after the year's end. But it does follow some patterns. The Budget Committee considered both more conservative and more hopeful scenarios of DMF giving, And we chose to predict based on patterns of giving in the years leading up to 2020. 270,000, which came a number that came to us from Lori, was a middle of the road estimate. And that provides us with stability for project planning and also gives us flexibility to adjust spending if necessary as the year progresses. The Budget Committee always reviews the budget mid-year to determine whether adjustments need to be made based on revenue. So that brings us to expenses. And as I mentioned earlier, the conference center is our biggest single category of expenditures. So this is the conference center details. Both 2019 and 2020 included major maintenance, including a full replacement of the 50-year-old lodge roof. Much of those expenditures were offset through donations from individuals, and now nearly everything around the CCC is up to date, which means the physical plant of the center is pretty well positioned for the future. However, it costs money to continue with regular maintenance, housekeeping, groundskeeping, food, air conditioning, heat, water, etc. The conference center staff are very good at predicting their expenses, and we trust that the numbers they gave us for the conference center are sound. There may be unexpected needs, things like rebuilding the entire chapel stage after a fire 1 month before camp, but willing volunteers help us keep costs down in emergencies, and the Budget Committee always reviews the budget mid-year to determine whether adjustments need to be made. Another large expense is the light blue here. That is staff salaries. So because of our projections for revenue, we were able to ensure the Personnel Committee had money to increase staff salaries along with the recent increases in the cost of living. Now, it is our hope that staff are fairly supported by the region. They regularly go above and beyond, and we'd like to keep them around. And finally, we have lots of plans for programming. After a successful summer of camp with no COVID cases, we're hoping to offer more camp programming next year. We're also offering the standard educational opportunities for adults and pastors in the region. And of course, our staff will be continuing regional support for congregations in search and call, new congregations, and congregations in transformation. We also have our usual grants available for all of you in all of our congregations and all of your ministries. So a budget is always a work in progress, and the last 2 years have shown us the need to be open to all possibilities. That said, the Budget Committee and the Operations Council feel confident that this document represents, to the best of our knowledge, what our income and expenses for the next year will be.